Hey guys, it's Mary and welcome back to Study Journey. Welcome back to the Python series. This is episode 15 of the word game. In today's episode, we're going to be writing play game. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so in this episode, we're going to start the play game function so that we can test out our substitute hand function. Remember, the two print statements right here and right here, these will be common soon when we actually test the game. So I'm going to copy over play game. And as we can see, it states that this will allow the user to play a series of hands. So first we have to ask the user to input a total number of hands, and then we accumulate the score for each hand into a total score for the entire series. So for each hand, before playing, we have to ask the user if they want to substitute one letter for another. So this is for substitute hand. And if the user inputs yes, then we're going to ask them for their desired letter. And this can only be used once during the game. And once the substitute option is used, the user should not be asked if they want to substitute letters in the future. So based off of what we have right here, we can write the play game function. So first, we have to ask the user to input a total number of hands. So I'm going to input, enter total number of hands. So this is going to ask the user for how many number of hands do they want, and I'm going to set this to the number of hands. So based off of their input, it's going to go into the number of hands. And as we can see, this input right here is going to be a number, so we have to make sure that it is going to be an integer. Now that we have the number of hands, we're going to see that you can only let it replay once. So I'm going to set replay option to 1, and when it becomes 0, we will not show the replay option. So it states that we have to accumulate the score for each hand into a total score. So I'm going to first set the total score to 0, and then from there we can accumulate the total score based off of the score for each hand. Now, so for I in range the number of hands, so however many times they decide to play a hand, we're going to first let the hand be deal hand with the hand size. So from here, we're going to first print out the current hand. So I'm going to print current hand. And then on the next row, I wanted to print out the hand. So I'm going to do comment end equals a space. So this is going to jump to the next row, and then I'm going to display the hand. And the parameter for display hand is obviously going to be the hand. So after we have the hand displayed, we're going to ask the user whether or not they would like to substitute a letter. So I'm going to get an input, and it's going to ask, would you like to substitute a letter? And as we can see, because this is going to be an input, I'm going to set this to ask substitute. So I'm going to ask the user if they want to substitute the hand. And this input is going to either say yes or no. So as we can see, if the user says yes, then we're going to ask them which letter they want to substitute. So I'm going to say if ask substitute, if this is yes, so if they input yes, I'm going to use 1, then the letter that they're going to substitute is going to be whatever letter they input. So I'm going to put another input statement, and it's going to ask which letter would you like to replace. So now that we know which letter they would like to replace, so this should be a letter in the hand, then we're going to update the hand to use substitute hand. With the parameters being hand and then the letter. So now that we have this, we have to see what the score for this hand is, because to update the total score, we have to know what each hand's score is. So I'm going to say the hand score is going to be, obviously we're going to play the hand, which will get the score, so it's going to be hand and then word list. So now that we have the hand score, we can update the total score to be what the total score used to be, plus the score for this hand. Remember, because this is in the loop for I in range number of hands, so basically this is saying for every hand that they're going to play, this is going to update the total score, and in the end we should have the total score. But what happens if the user does not say yes? So the else statement, we're going to find the hand score. So we're just going to play the hand with hand and then word list. And then we're going to update the total score. Which is just the total score plus the hand score. Okay, so now that we have the play game and substitute hand, I'm going to continue this function, and as we can see, for play game, since it states that we can only replay the hand once, the replay option is used. The user should not be asked if they want to replay future hands. So after we have if ask substitute is yes, we do all of this. So now that we have this, as we can see, we let the relay option be 1. So if the relay option is 1, then we're going to replay the input, which is would you like to substitute a letter. Now, as we can see, this is because this will only run if this else statement runs right here. So if the ask substitute in the beginning, in the first time they played in hand, it was a no, then we're just going to play the regular hand and get the total score. And then if the relay option is not going to change, so the relay option is still going to be 1, then we're going to simply replay the input and let them go through this loop again. So if the replay option, if replay or the user input is yes this time, then we're going to replay score be the play hand and then the hand with the word list. So if the replay score is more than the hand score, then we're going to use the replay score. So as we can see in the instructions, it says for each hand, ask the user if they would like to replay the hand. If the user inputs yes, they will replay the hand and keep the better of the 2 scores for that hand. And this can only be done once during the game. Once the replay option is used, the user should not be asked if they want to replay future hands. Replaying the hand does not count as one of the total number of hands the user initially wanted to play. So if you want to replay a hand, you do not get the option to substitute a letter. You must play whatever that they give you. So if the replay score is better than what we have, then we're going to update the total score to be the total score plus the replay score, and then we're going to subtract what we had initially, which was the hand score. And then if they did replay it, then we would have to set the replay option to 0, which means this will not run. So it would not ask the user again, would you like to replay the hand. So right here, instead of would you like to substitute a letter, it's going to be would you like to replay the hand. And so now that we have this, we can actually print out the total score. So we're going to print total score over all hands, because this would be after this first 4 statement runs, and this is going to run for all of the hands. So now that all of the hands have run, we can actually print out the total score. And that is going to be whatever the total score at the end of the game was. So now that we have this, we can copy all of this over to ps3.py. So I'm going to Command C and then make sure these indentions are the same. Oops. So right here, indent, and then indent, and then I'm going to print all of this. So now that we have this, in the next episode we will put all of this together and hopefully finish the game.